Hey, how's it going? If you're curious about whether or not there's going to be a military draft due to recent events, I could tell you that at the moment the answer is no. There hasn't been a military draft since the end of the Vietnam War, and it would take an act of Congress currently to reinstate the draft. Currently, the U.S. military is an all-voluntary force with just over 1 million members. And although the military is an all-voluntary force, it is required by law for males between the ages of 18 and 25 to register with selective service in case the draft is reinstated. And just because you are registered with selective service doesn't necessarily mean you will be drafted if that happens. Now, there are penalties if you do not register with selective service, and this ranges anywhere from not receiving financial aid to not being able to be employed by the federal government. Currently, it is only males that are required to register with selective service. Hopefully that answers your question about whether or not there's going to be a draft. Now, I went through this experience in the early 90s with the first Gulf War. I was in middle school at the time, but just about to go into high school, and I remember the feeling of this war happening and knowing that I was going to have to register for selective service. Obviously there wasn't a draft at that time, but it still was a thought at the front of my mind going into high school, you know, and then at the end of high school, could I possibly get drafted if this war was still going on? However, eventually, after high school, I actually enlisted in the military, went into the Marine Corps, hoorah. So this part of the video is going to be geared towards anybody that actually wants to go and volunteer. Just a few pointers if you're choosing to do this. Just know that I would say that the main thing that is going to help you is start running. You're going to do a lot of running, okay? If you've never ran before, no better time to start now if you want to go and join the military. You're going to be doing lots of sit-ups and lots of pull-ups, lots of push-ups. So focus on those exercises and running, and you'll give yourself a good baseline for going into boot camp. But another thing that I want to make you aware of is that not everybody gets in, and this is something that happens at your screening before you actually ship off to boot camp. You go through a medical screening, and if there's any type of medical condition that you might have, I mean, even being underweight can get you disqualified. Eyesight, if you don't have good enough eyesight, you probably won't get in. So I'm just trying to save you from not being too discouraged if something like this happens to you, and you know you really want to enlist and you want to do your duty, but you get turned down because of some physical mishap, whatever it might be. Just know that, you know, that's their conditions of entry, and maybe it was for a reason. So keep that in the back of your mind. Once again, there's not going to be a draft currently. It's not to say that it couldn't happen, but for the time being, there's no draft, and hopefully the situation won't get worse. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and take care.